Guess they'll hire just about anybody these days. Connor Wade's voice slices through the Friday night noise of the Pacific Watch Bar like something sharp and deliberate, pitched loud enough for 40 people to catch every word. Rachel Dawson doesn't react. She's already on her knees, surrounded by broken glass and spreading puddles of amber beer. 5 or 6 pint glasses lie shattered across the scuffed hardwood floor of the bar, just outside Naval Amphibious Base San Diego. Her hands move with quiet precision, gathering the larger shards first and setting them into her black plastic tray without missing a beat. The bar sits just past the main gate, close enough to catch the salt air drifting off the Pacific, far enough for people to pretend civilian rules still matter. Wood-paneled walls display decades of Navy history, framed photos of SEAL teams past, and plaques honoring operations nobody discusses anymore. The ceiling fans rotate lazily, stirring air thick with beer, fried food, and something harder to name. Testosterone, maybe. Or judgment. Rachel wears a black polo with the Pacific Watch logo stitched over the heart, dark jeans, and non-slip shoes. Her brown hair is pulled into a tight bun. At 5'4", she's easy to miss in a room packed with warriors. Easy to overlook, easy to underestimate. Connor leans back in his chair with his arms folded across a chest built from years in the gym. He's 38, linebacker solid, hair clipped military short, jaw sharp enough to use as a blade. His polo bears the SEAL Trident over the left breast, real gold thread. The kind you earn through blood and years, not a purchase. He wears it like armor, like proof. Seriously, though, Connor continues, working his audience of 4 fellow SEALs, standards must really be slipping around here. Give it another week and they'll be letting anyone serve us. Rachel's jaw tightens for half a second, then relaxes. Her gray eyes stay fixed on the task. Her breathing falls into a familiar rhythm. 4 counts in through the nose. 4 counts held. 4 counts out through the mouth. 4 counts held again. The pattern her father taught her. Then she spots it. The ring. It has rolled beneath Connor's chair, barely catching the dim light. Silver, but not cheap silver. The metal throws back a dull gleam from the overhead fixtures. Rachel's hand stills for half a second, long enough for her pulse to skip, not long enough for anyone to notice. She reaches for it slowly and carefully. Her fingertips graze the cold metal just as Connor's boot comes down, pinning her hand against the floor. Not hard enough to cause pain, hard enough to make a point, well now. Connor leans forward. What have we got here? He lifts his boot and Rachel pulls her hand back. The ring comes with it, held between her thumb and forefinger. She rises in one smooth motion. Connor plucks it from her fingers. Nice prop. He holds it up to the light and turns it slowly. The trident catches the glow, eagle, anchor, and pistol forged into a single emblem. Every SEAL knows that image. Most civilians do too, thanks to recruitment posters and movies. But this one is different. The weight is right. The detail is exact. The wear along the edges tells a story measured in years, not weeks. Connor's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Buy that on the internet? Give it back. Rachel's voice is low, controlled. Why should I? Connor tilts his head. This belonged to you? Last time I checked, you were pouring drinks, not running dives off the San Diego coast. It was my father's. Funny, my old man used to say the same thing. He pauses, letting the silence do work. Right before he figured out that lying about service is a federal offense. Rachel's hand doesn't waver. I'm not lying. Sure you're not. Connor tosses the ring into the air and catches it. Here's the deal. You want it back? Prove it's real. Otherwise, he slides it into his pocket. Finders keepers. Near the front window, a man who has been nursing the same beer for the past hour shifts slightly in his booth. Master Chief Harold Briggs, retired, age 65, wearing a worn leather jacket over a faded SEAL veteran shirt and a baseball cap pulled low. His weathered face, all hard lines and sun damage, turns toward the commotion. His eyes narrow. Rachel holds Connor's gaze for 3 full seconds, then turns and walks toward the back. Her hands are steady. The tray of broken glass doesn't rattle once. Ease up, Wade. The voice comes from a booth near the back wall. Deeper, older. Commander Dennis Harlow sits with 2 other officers, all in civilian clothes but carrying themselves like the uniform never came off. Dennis is 52, gray threading through close-cropped hair, lean in the way of distance runners rather than weight men. His face is weathered from years of squinting into sun and wind. The lady is just doing her job. Just calling it the way I see it, sir. Connor's tone carries the thinnest edge of respect. Stolen valor is everywhere these days. Dennis says nothing. He lifts his water glass and takes a slow sip, but Rachel notices his eyes tracking her as she moves, calculating, taking stock. The kitchen is stainless steel and harsh fluorescent lighting. The smell of fryer grease hangs thick. 2 cooks work the line without glancing up as Rachel dumps the broken glass into the trash. She slips into the small employee break room off the side, a closet-sized space with a single folding chair and a scratched mirror. She draws a small cloth from her pocket and unfolds it carefully. Inside sits an identical ring. The real one, the one Connor pocketed, is a replica, swapped so smoothly that nobody noticed. Sleight of hand, learned from a father who believed in redundancy. Rachel polishes the ring with slow, deliberate strokes. The trident catches the light. Her thumb traces the worn inscription on the inner band, letters so small they're nearly invisible. Frank Dawson, Ghost 7. Not yet, Dad, she whispers. The door swings open. Lieutenant Claire Thornton leans in, 31 years old, wearing the khaki uniform of a Navy lieutenant, auburn hair pulled into a regulation bun, blue eyes carrying genuine concern. You doing okay? Fine. Rachel slips the ring onto a chain around her neck and tucks it under her shirt. That was Wade, wasn't it? Claire steps fully into the room and lets the door close behind her. They have known each other since high school, back when Rachel was a military kid bouncing between bases and Claire was the daughter of a Marine colonel. Their friendship survived deployments, distance, and dramatically different career paths. He took my father's ring. Claire's expression goes hard. The real one or the copy? Rachel touches her chest. The copy. But he doesn't know that. What are you planning to do? What I came here to do. Finish what my father started. 2 hours later, the Pacific Watch is packed shoulder to shoulder. Friday night and payday colliding to create the perfect storm of noise and chaos. Rachel moves through the crowd with practiced efficiency, delivering drinks, clearing tables, always watching, always listening. Harold Briggs has relocated from his corner booth to the bar itself, positioning himself with a clean line of sight to Connor's table. When Rachel passes close enough, he speaks without looking at her, voice pitched low beneath the surrounding noise. Your father was Ghost 7, Frank Dawson, one of the finest operators I ever knew. Served alongside him for 12 years. Watched him become one of the best the team's ever produced. Rachel doesn't break stride, but her hand trembles slightly. He died in Afghanistan. The official story says equipment failure during a night operation. 8 men lost. Harold takes a slow sip. But that's not the full picture, is it? No, it isn't. And you're here because the man who got my father killed is sitting 20 feet away, wearing a uniform he has no right to. Harold nods slowly. Whatever you've got planned, make it count. You'll only get one chance at this, I know. Commander Dennis Harlow appears at Rachel's elbow. Miss Dawson, could I have a word? Rachel follows him to a quiet alcove. Dennis studies her face before he speaks. Frank Dawson served under my command when he died. I knew the official report was wrong from the beginning. The timeline didn't hold together. The equipment failures were far too convenient. Then why didn't anyone speak up? I tried. My commanding officer shut down every inquiry I raised. Dennis's jaw tightens, but I never forgot, and I never stopped looking. I know who was involved. Rachel's voice is steady. Captain Connor Wade took payments to falsify reports, and behind him is someone bigger, someone with enough pull to bury the truth for a decade. How do you know all this? My father left evidence, encrypted and hidden. Rachel touches the chain beneath her shirt. He spent his last hours building a case he knew he would never get to present himself, so he left it for me. What kind of evidence? Recordings, documents, financial records laying out a full fraud scheme, communication logs, enough to convict a dozen people. And tonight, I'm going to put all of it in front of this room. How exactly? Watch closely, Commander, and be ready when it happens. At 10:30, the lights dim slightly. The jukebox cuts out, replaced by a sharp microphone squeal. Every head in the bar turns toward the small stage area where Rachel stands holding a wireless mic, a laptop open on the table beside her. Can I have everyone's attention for a moment? What the hell? Connor starts to rise from his seat, but Harold Briggs has materialized behind him, one hand pressing firmly on his shoulder. Stay put, Captain. I think you'll want to hear this. My name is Rachel Dawson. Most of you know me as the waitress here. What you don't know is that I am the daughter of Master Chief Frank Dawson. Call sign Ghost 7. He died 10 years ago in Afghanistan, along with 7 other members of his SEAL team. The official report called it equipment failure. Tragic. Unavoidable. She pauses. That report was a lie. The room erupts in murmurs. Rachel raises one hand. My father knew he was being set up. He knew someone in the command structure was dirty. So he documented everything, recorded everything, encrypted everything, and he left it for someone who could finish what he had started. She touches the laptop. This drive contains everything. Procurement fraud, falsified equipment reports, communications showing deliberate intelligence manipulation. And at the center of it all, Rachel turns to face Connor, Captain Connor Wade. That is insane. Connor's voice is loud and aggressive. I don't know what kind of game you think you're playing here. Accepting bribes to falsify equipment reports? Rachel's voice cuts through. Taking payment to look the other way while weapons and gear were swapped for substandard knockoffs. Providing false intelligence that walked 8 men into an ambush. Prove it. I can. Rachel clicks the laptop, because my father recorded every conversation with Colonel Raymond Howell, all of them. The recording that plays is crystal clear. Connor's voice, younger but unmistakable. The financial details need adjustment before the audit. If anyone starts asking questions about the equipment discrepancies, a second voice, older, commanding. Let me worry about the questions. Your job is to make sure the paperwork matches the story we're telling. I can manage that. But if this comes back on me, it won't. We've been running this for months, and even if someone started digging, they'd have to go through channels we control. What about Dawson? He's been pulling the inventory reports. Then we deal with Dawson. The recording continues. Details emerge. Payments, falsified documents, equipment swapped for cheaper alternatives. Then the final conversation. Ghost Team's mission. The intelligence that positioned them for an ambush. The equipment failures that were not failures at all, but deliberate sabotage. We have a problem. Dawson found the discrepancies. He's filing a formal complaint. Can you stop it? Not through official channels. He already has documentation. Then we use the Afghanistan operation. Send his team in with the compromised equipment. Make it look like combat losses. Relay the coordinates. Let it play out. And Wade, if you ever breathe a word of this, remember that I have recordings of every payment you accepted. You are in this just as deep as I am. The recording ends. The bar explodes. Seals surge toward Connor, voices overlapping. Dennis Harlow steps between them with both arms out. Stand down, all of you. This is not how we handle this. Connor's eyes dart around the room. That recording is a fake. Anyone can fabricate audio these days. The metadata checks out. Rachel's voice cuts through. Timestamps, encryption signatures, chain of custody documentation. My father knew someone was dirty, so he recorded everything and left it for someone who could finish the job. Who was giving the orders? Dennis demands. Who was it? Connor's face crumbles. Colonel Raymond Howell. He ran procurement for Special Operations Command, operating a fraud scheme, selling equipment to contractors, replacing it with cheaper substitutes, and pocketing the difference. Dawson found the discrepancies and started asking questions. Howell needed him gone, and you helped make it happen. I didn't have a choice. Connor's voice is raw. Howell had evidence I'd accepted bribes. Small ones at first, but enough to end my career. He owned me. You had a choice. Rachel's voice is quiet, but every person in the room hears it. You chose your career over 8 lives. You chose money over brothers. You chose to let my father die rather than face what you'd done. I'm sorry. It sounds genuine, broken. I have lived with this every single day. Don't. Dennis cuts him off. 8 men died. 8 families were destroyed. And you've been walking around in that uniform, acting like a hero. He pulls out his phone. Base security, Commander Dennis Harlow. I need military police at the Pacific Watch immediately. I have a captain in custody pending court-martial for criminal negligence and conspiracy to commit murder. Minutes later, 3 military police officers arrive and take Connor into custody. No struggle. As they lead him past Rachel, he stops. For what it's worth, your father was the best of us. He deserved a great deal better than what he got. He did. And now everyone will know that. They take him away. Dennis turns to the room. Listen up. What you witnessed tonight is classified. Do not discuss this outside secure channels. This is an active investigation. Operational security applies. Understood. A chorus of yes, sir responses. Dennis turns to Rachel. Walk with me. They step outside into cool night air. Fog has rolled in thick off the water. Dennis leads her toward the parking lot. Your father recruited you for this before he died. Not exactly. Rachel pulls her jacket tighter. He left instructions, contingencies. He knew something might happen, so he prepared me, trained me without me fully realizing it. Left things I wouldn't understand until I was ready. I've spent 10 years preparing for this night. And Howell, do you know where he is now? Retired, lives in San Diego, gated community in La Jolla, Pacific Pines. Rachel recites the address without hesitation. I've been watching him for 3 months. Dennis pulls out his phone and makes a call. This is Commander Harlow. I need Naval Criminal Investigative Service dispatched to Pacific Pines, La Jolla. Subject is retired Colonel Raymond Howell, wanted for conspiracy, fraud, and accessory to the murder of 8 Navy SEALs. He provides the address. They'll have him in custody within the hour. Good. Your father was my mentor, my friend. When he died, I knew something was wrong. Dennis's voice catches, but I had no proof, no leverage. He looks at the chain around her neck. He really left all of it behind. Everything. Rachel touches the ring through her shirt. He spent his last hours building a case he knew he would never prosecute himself. So you finished it for him. I finished it for the truth. And because 8 men deserve justice. What do you do now? I want my father's name cleared. I want the record to show that Ghost Team died because of corruption, not incompetence. And I want every person involved held accountable. You'll get that. I give you my word. Dennis extends his hand. Your father would be proud of you. Thank you, Commander. She climbs into her car and starts the engine. As she pulls out of the lot, her phone buzzes. A text message. Unknown number. Ghost 7. Tower 4 sends regards. Your father's last target is still active. Coordinates attached. A file downloads. Rachel pulls over and opens it. Inside are satellite images, geographic coordinates, and a name. Senator Patricia Voss, Defense Appropriations Committee. Rachel types back, "Who is this?" 3 dots appear. Then, a friend of your father's. Someone who has been watching and waiting. The coordinates lead to evidence Voss buried 15 years ago. Evidence that will bring down the entire conspiracy. But you need to move fast. She knows Wade was arrested. She's already covering her tracks. Rachel sits in the dark, the ring warm against her chest. She types, "How much time do I have?" The response arrives. 72 hours, maybe less. After that, the evidence disappears forever. Rachel shifts into drive and heads toward the coordinates, because this isn't over. The truth isn't fully exposed, and Ghost 7's daughter still has work to do. As she moves through the fog-covered streets, her phone buzzes again. A voicemail. Harold Briggs's gravel voice fills the car. "Miss Dawson, wanted you to know that word is spreading fast. Seals are talking. Your father is being remembered the way he deserves, as a hero, as a man who died trying to stop something rotten." A pause. He left you his dog tags. Been keeping them safe all these years. Figured it was time you had them. Stop by tomorrow. I'll be at the bar. The message ends. Rachel drives on. The ring stays warm against her skin. And somewhere ahead, past the fog and the dark, the next target waits. Welcome to Old Bill's Tales.